I'm awkward on camera. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. For those of you that are new here, my name is Tori, aka Strangebird, and I create art-related videos. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, some tea, some hot chocolate milk, I don't know, whatever it is that you drink. Get some and let's have a little chit chat. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was inspiration and how, at least for me, like what I do, and then some things to watch out for when you're trying to be inspired by things. As much as that made sense. So one thing that you can do is you can look on Pinterest, some other types of social media to find some interests in Pinterest. So one thing that you can do is you can go on Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, even Google, honestly, but just be careful with Google because you don't know what you're gonna find, especially even with Tumblr. You can look for some photos of things that you might want to draw. Like, I like to look at photography, personally. Like, I think that finding very beautiful portraits and really creative ones too help me get into that creative mindset. I do sometimes look at paintings, not often, because this is where it gets into that little danger zone, that very fine line of comparing versus finding inspiration. I notice that when I look at painters, either on paintings, not painters, like if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I find a painting by an artist or drawing by an artist that I'm very inspired by, I tend to think, oh wow, my art is not as good as this person's art and I will never be as good as this person or whatever, and I just start getting into this like very negative mindset and then I don't end up creating. So try to watch out for that. Like, don't compare yourself. Look at the types of creative decisions that this person makes in their art and think, how can I get to that point? How can I refine my skills in order to help myself get to a more confident piece? Tip number 2 is you can do an art study. So this is where some people get a little touchy about art studies, but I don't understand why, because if you know what a study is, then shut up. One of the things that people tend to believe is that when you do a study, you're copying someone and you're stealing their work. That is not what a study is. A study is when you sit in front of a piece, be it a sculpture, a painting, a drawing, whatever, it doesn't really matter, and you try to draw it, right? You try to draw that actual painting or that piece of artwork, and you're trying to emulate whatever it is that that artist did. So whatever creative decisions that they made, whatever, like the composition, the color scheme, the paint strokes, that's what you're trying to emulate into the one that you are copying. You're essentially would be considered an infield drawing, right? So for example, if I were to go to a museum and I find a Picasso painting, I would try to emulate his brushstrokes. I would sit in front of his painting, do his painting, and try to learn those techniques through a kinetic way. You can post a study on social media, you can post it in your portfolio, but you have to label it as a study. It doesn't mean, like, if you're just gonna post a study on social media and it's clear as day that it is someone else's painting, someone is going to say that you stole their work and it's gonna come like crashing down, whatever. But saying, hey, I did a James Jean study, or I did a Joel Cooper study, or something like that is okay as long as you post and give credit where credit is due. The third tip that I have is that you can go through your old sketchbooks and cringe. If I were to look back at my horrible, I'm cringing. I'm cringing just thinking about it. If I look back at my old sketchbook, I would see how bad my anatomy was. And that's not to say that I am perfect at anatomy now. I'm obviously still learning, but just seeing how shitty your art used to be and how much you've grown, that's one way to really inspire you and be like, wow, I really should get out of this creative slump because I am so much better than I was before. My fourth and final piece of advice is that you can take an old painting or an old drawing or basically anything and redo it. So that's what I'm doing in this video. I am recreating this piece that I've done in 2018. It is now 2019. It is time to start anew. Let's do it. So yeah, this honestly came out, I'm so happy with the way it came out. Like, I can't get over it. I know I sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but this is something that I'm actually really proud of for once, and that doesn't happen very often when it comes to my artwork. But this piece that I did, well, the previous piece, the original, right? That makes sense? That one that I did in 2018 didn't really have the feel that I was going for. It had the idea, like the basic idea, but not, I feel like I didn't execute it well. As far as this one goes, I feel like I really executed the feeling that I wanted to give. The idea that I had, it really came into fruition in this piece, and I can't be happier with it. But if you're interested in purchasing her, I have her up for sale on my shop at strangebirdillustration.com. I will have that all linked below. If you're interested in any other originals, that's where you're gonna go, is to my shop. I have originals, prints, pins, keychains, you know, just the typical stuff. But if that's something that you don't want, you can always support my art in other ways by following me on Instagram and obviously subscribing to this channel, because I sometimes put out videos. It's not very often, but I do. But if you're interested in supporting me in other ways, you could follow me on social media. You can also follow me on Patreon. If you pledge $1, you'll have access to all my blog posts, which I post tutorials, reviews, sneak peeks, you know, the whole nine. I send out monthly newsletters for $1. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I will also have that link down below. It's also on my website if you are interested. But yeah, I'll let you enjoy the rest of this video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!